All right, it appears we are streaming live. Maureen, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Or I can see everybody else. There you go.
There you are. Hi there. All right, just confirming that we're streaming live one more time, and then we can go, Dawn.
All right.
It's showing it up the top left of mine live on Facebook.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. We are good to go. Dawn, when you're ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Historic District Commission meeting on Monday, May 18th of 2020. We are going to say the Pledge of Allegiance today. Laura has a flag in her kitchen there that, so if we could all join in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States
of America. And to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty, justice for all.
Thank you. The Frostburg Historic District Commission implements the city's Historic Preservation Overlay District of the Frostburg Zoning Ordinance, Section 4, as adopted in 2014, pursuant to the authority granted by the Maryland Land Use Article Section 8, as adopted in 2012 of the Annotated Code of Maryland. This meeting is open to the public and is conducted in compliance with the State of Maryland's Open Meetings Act. The Frostburg Historic District Commission is charged with the preservation of historic structures and the surroundings within the designated district in order to safeguard the heritage of the city, stabilize and improve property values, strengthen the local economy, and foster civic beauty. Now I have some procedural text via our new format here. So this meeting is being held via Zoom and is streaming live on Facebook. Public comment was solicited via email to LJ Bennett, Director of Community Development. It is requested that all meeting attendees state their name prior to speaking to be accurately identified. Applicants, please state your name and address for the record. Please practice patience and kindness as we adapt to this new public meeting forum. Thank you. I'm sure we'll have some hiccups along the way. All right, so let's do roll call. Commissioner Detterman is not with us today. Commissioner Rapan.
Present.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Online.
And I am Dawn Hine, the chair. And we do not have our alternate, Mr. Filer, with us today.
And if I may, Madam Chair, I just received a message from Commissioner Detterman. He is in the process of joining this meeting. So as soon as I can, I'll admit him in with us.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, commissioners, if you will please review the agenda, and when you are ready, please make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second it.
Okay.
All right. Having a motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. I think we need to go through each person. Is that correct, LJ?
That's correct. I'm sorry I failed to put that on the review of the agenda and the minutes for you.
So, Commissioner Hoffman,
Aye.
Commissioner Raypan,
Aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Aye.
All right. So, hearing none opposed, motion passes. In the same way, commissioners, will you please review the minutes from the January 2020 meeting and provide a motion when you are ready?
I'll make a motion to approve. Joe.
Maureen Brewer, I second.
All right, having a motion and a second, let's go through the roll call. Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Commissioner Raypan,
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Aye.
All right, hearing none opposed, the motion passes. So then we will move on to our project presentations. And the first one we have is Amey Sites for 226 East Main Street. So, Amy, if you would just please state your name and your address, and then tell us about your project.
Yeah, Amey Sites, 226 East Main Street. And we are wanting to build some wood shutters just for curb appeal of the house.
So, currently the house does not have shutters, is that correct?
No, it has none.
And would they be wood, or what material would they be?
Yeah, they would be wood.
And would they just be on the front or the whole house, are you anticipating?
Just the front.
Amy, I see that across the top there are 4 windows, and on the first floor, I see 2 at the front of the house. Are all 6 then receiving shutters?
Yes.
And in your proposal, I see a picture of shutters on another house. Are those
That's my reference of how we wanted to build them.
okay?
And commissioners, I would just like you to note that in our historic resource inventory, the house has been considerably changed from the original. The window sizes are very different. They've been made smaller in the past. So there have been some major alterations done on the house through the years.
Now, the example that this is Maureen Brewer. The example that you have, Amy, on your picture, is that house also in the historic district?
No, that's off Pinterest.
I was gonna say, it looks kind of familiar, but
That's where I get a lot of ideas.
I know, it can be trouble at times.
Out of curiosity, did this house previously have shutters, Amy, or don't you know?
We moved here in November, so I'm not sure what it was like before that.
Yeah, and based on the inventory information, it didn't cite whether they had it originally or not.
LJ, do we have any historic photos of this house?
I really don't have any historic photos of this particular section of East Main Street that sits above the WPA wall. I have a lot of historic photos of that wall being built, but you can barely see the houses above it from the angle where the photographs were taken.
Sure.
So it's definitely a shortage for that area of historic photos.
I guess the only thing I'd be concerned about is they are short windows, and the shutters would have to be fairly narrow, especially the bottom ones, because you'd have to get them between the window and the railing there.
That's why we thought we'd customize them with the wood to make it look nice, instead of using like pre-manufactured ones, which might not fit there good.
So have you figured out the width you're planning on using?
Not exactly. I was waiting to have the meeting with you guys. But I mean, obviously the porch sits not too far from the window, so it would just go real close to the porch at the bottom. And then the windows up top, of course, the shutters would be shorter than the bottom windows just to make them look nice and fit the window.
Right. Sure.
What color were you thinking about painting them? Although color is not in our domain.
Yeah, we when I talked about the color, because we did change the trim of the house, we went with a historic palette and we changed it to like it's kind of like a dark blue now. So that would be what color the shutters would be.
Okay.
The porch is now a dark blue, like a dark grayish blue.
All right. Commissioners, do you have any other questions for Amey?
Not from me.
None.
All right. Well, if someone would like to make a motion, we may be ready for that.
I'll make a motion. This is Joe. I studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case, and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood because there is a general compatibility of design, scale, proportion, arrangement, texture, and materials to be used. The use of exterior materials is closely similar in appearance to what may be original materials of significant buildings within the district.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, then we'll do a roll call to do a vote here. Commissioner Rapan,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Aye.
All right. Hearing none opposed, motion passes.
Congratulations, Amey. You have a
Thank
big
you.
project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amey. I'll be in touch with a formal letter. I'll get that out to you this week. And that will be your certificate of appropriateness to move forward with this project.
Okay,
Thanks for
thank
bringing
you.
it to us.
All right, should I leave the meeting now?
Sure.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Okay. LJ, are you presenting the next proposal from Clatter?
Yes, Chair Hein, I will be presenting for Jon Felton of Clatter.
Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so in your agenda packet, you'll see a sketch plan that Mr. Felton has provided. And then I have an inventory sheet there for you. That's pretty typical, and a current picture of Clatter that sits at the corner of South Broadway and West Mechanic Street. And as you look at that corner and look down the side of the structure on West Mechanic Street, you'll see the addition of a little awning above the first window. And then I've given you a full picture of the service window. It was Mr. Felton's intention to bring this to you before it was constructed, but the nature of the current health crisis we're experiencing has had an incredible impact on small businesses. And so the inception of this window was brought out of brainstorming a way to keep the business open and active. And this was the best case solution to be able to provide coffee and still adhere to the social distancing recommendations and the mask wearing recommendations and the recommendations to not gather in small spaces. So this is what is proposed. The original idea was thought to be perhaps temporary, but if it proves successful, he'd like to make it a permanent part of his regular service. The signage that you see appearing there now is temporary, and new and improved signage will come back to you for approval at a later date.
So would the awning then be the permanent fixture, and then obviously the window, the sliding window, and then just the signage would change in the future?
Yes, that is my understanding.
This is Maureen Brewer. I think this is a great alternative and a great way to keep your business open, because the last thing we want is businesses to close in Frostburg to no fault of their own. And the concern I have, of course, you already handled the signage. Now this is just temporary, but the awning is the awning going to be in that position permanently, or we're not really sure yet?
I am not really sure. That is not a question I was able to ask Mr. Felton, but in the color photographs, and I'll scroll to those here in just a minute, he did have that created to match the awnings on the front.
I don't imagine if you moved it up higher on the window, it would be effective at all. If the idea was to keep sun or rain off of you, I don't think it would if you moved it all the way to the top. So it might look a little bit out of place, but I think functionally it probably is more functional right there.
LJ, do you know where this window opens? Is that into the area where they brew the coffee?
I think it's just a sliding window, isn't it?
It is a sliding window. It moves side to side. And, you know, Joe, I'm not exactly sure if that's opening into the dining area or if that opens into the barista area on the inside.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to recall where that window is located, and I can't. But anyhow, I think this is a really good solution to the problem he has. And it could well be that this is something that could work for him even beyond the coronavirus.
And I'm very sure Mr. Felton would be receptive to any suggestions you might like to make.
The only thing I also saw was the cork board that's on the right-hand side. Again, I know their hours are fluid. They're trying to figure out the best time and everything. But maybe if it could possibly match, I know that's a blackboard on the other side, but if it could possibly match the one on the left, or have some kind of coordination between the two. Like you can still keep it as a cork board, just if it's a black one. Something that I think.
That's understandable. And when it's time to create the motion, if that's a recommendation that you'd like to put into the motion and vote on it that way, that you could certainly do that.
Yeah, I think if you kind of contained it to either one side or the other, I think that would help in making it look a little neater. I do really like the sign on the sketch that he provided, where it has kind of the arm that sticks out, kind of above where the awning is. I think if that's the direction he's heading, that'll look really nice. And it might make the awning look a little more comfortable on the window.
I agree. I think that would make it look much more attractive. And also it would
like
be very
that.
functional because someone walking on the sidewalk could see that there is a takeaway window there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks up the top of that window too.
So what do you need
don't think it
from
breaks it
us
up.
today?
Go ahead, John.
I was just asking, do you need a motion for him to keep what's there in place, or where do we need to head with this?
I think we need a motion to keep this in place. And in crafting the motion, there are suggestions on your agenda, but if you'd like to include the recommendations for matching boards, whether they're cork boards or chalk boards, and bring the proposed signage that's in the sketch back to meeting for approval. I think that would keep him up and running for now. And then I think you have the opportunity to improve and approve future signage.
And the only comment I had was to what Rob was saying. I don't think the sketch, the way it is, I don't think it breaks up the window. I think it actually makes the window come together more.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. The awning looks kind of out in space.
Yeah, but I think
Without
that,
that.
I think that sign and then take out.
Right. It pulls it together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It grounds it all together, yeah.
I like it. It also makes a great addition during farmer's market.
You're right.
That is a good point.
All right, commissioners, do you have any further questions for LJ concerning the clatter window?
I don't think so.
No, I think this is a brilliant solution to a problem he's facing right now.
All right, well, if we are finished with discussion, would someone please make a motion?
LJ, could you scroll back up to the,
Yes.
hi,
Sorry, be right back.
Hey, Don.
we shake hands virtually.
Yeah. We can all do a high five.
I think the fist bump is more in order.
There we go.
There you go.
Wonder if we could actually hit each, no, we can't do it.
Sorry, give me 1 minute. We're coming back.
This is why we asked for patience.
And I thank you so much. Figures it would be me. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you again for your patience. Sorry about that.
It's just going to be hard to word this.
Rob, do you want me to try?
Yeah,
Okay, I have studied, this is Maureen Brewer. I have studied the application and all relevant documents and presentation related to this case, and I'm familiar with the property in question. I find that the proposed changes are compatible with the neighborhood. There is a maintenance of a rhythm and ratio of solid wall areas and windows and doors. We do have this, commission does have a few suggestions to arrange the hour signs as well as the cork board possibly on the same side, and to bring the final sketch with the list of materials back to the commission for final approval. So based on these findings, I move to approve the proposal because the use of exterior materials are closely similar to the appearance of original materials or significant buildings in the district pursuant to section 4-1-J-1-C and 2-C and G. Does that sound close to what we're looking for?
Do I hear a second?
Second?
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, I think we need to add the words that we're recommending that he include the vertical signage on the side of the window that is part of his original sketch.
that's right.
Yes. I agree.
All right. All in favor with the amended proposal, please say aye. Oh,
Aye.
sorry, I will do the roll call. Commissioner Raypan,
Aye.
Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Aye.
All right. Hearing none opposed, motion passes as amended. All right, so I think we can move on to old business. We had spoken about the Historic District walking tour brochure that was being developed by Allegheny Tourism. So it looks like LJ is letting us know that it's kind of been pushed back time-wise due to everything that's happened with COVID-19 and travel restrictions and such. LJ, do you have any other things you want to share with us?
Just that we're so grateful for the partnership with Allegheny County Tourism. They're wonderful to work with, and they're very supportive of Frostburg, and we're very grateful for that. And the brochures have been delivered. They have been delivered to many of our area businesses. And the press release campaign that was scheduled to really push both the Frostburg walking tour brochure and the one created for Cumberland has been pushed back because people are still not encouraged to congregate in large groups. The stay-at-home order has been converted to a safer at-home order. And so it's really just not quite the right time to advertise travel and tourism. But as soon as some more of the restrictions are lifted, that's when that press release campaign will go into full action, and I'll update you when we can watch for that.
Okay, great. Thank
Okay.
you.
My pleasure.
That's exciting.
It is.
And then I see we have metal roofing as another old business item.
We do. We had discussed metal roofing in our last meeting and how historically metal roofing was an application that was relatively commonly used. And there are technical preservation briefs on metal roofing. So I gave you the preservation brief from the National Park Service as a hyperlink to look over, but I don't think it really answers all of our questions. And one of the really thoughtful questions that was brought up in the last meeting is that metal roofing is an appropriate application for some styles of architecture, but not all. And I just think the preservation brief brings that to light. And perhaps we should have a more in-depth discussion about exactly what types of architecture, specifically the ones that we have here in Frostburg, are appropriate to have a metal roof placed on them. And I would just like to ask you how you'd like me to proceed on that.
Question, was that a live link? Because for some reason, my computer wouldn't load it. I don't know, it was might have been my computer's problem.
Let me test it right here while we're all together.
Because it looked like it was trying to load, but it wouldn't.
It is a live link, Rob.
Yep.
I have read that, and I thank you for sharing that, LJ. I thought it was very informative.
I refer to these briefs often. They're full of good information, and particularly when we've had a fire or serious wind damage to historic bricks in town. The preservation brief on brick and mortar is extensive and really helpful. So I look at these often.
I think the history that it shares with us when you read it, it's very interesting how far back metal roofs go and the reason and rationale for using metal originally.
Yeah, the preservation briefs really cover everything from A to Z, building wise. And so you can get them all online, I believe. They're accessible. So if there's ever anything that you'd like to learn more about or what's the best way to handle, as LJ said, they're just enormously helpful and really provide some good information.
Is there a way we could put that on the city, on our part of the city page, web page?
I'm sure we could. We might need some specific permissions, but I'm sure we could put the technical preservation brief page up on our website and just with maybe with a brief explanation that these are created specifically to go hand in hand with the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation.
Because I'm thinking there are a few things that we get asked about, and that's one of them, and windows is another.
Yes.
Railings is another. You know, when people are replacing things, maybe brick, like you said,
Mhm.
mortar.
Yeah,
So-
maybe some of the ones that we see often,
Right.
maybe, because as I said, I mean, I don't even know how many they're up to now. How many preservation briefs. There are quite a number of them. So
I see
maybe if
50.
you-
50 are
50?
listed.
Yeah. So, and there may even be more than that. I'm not sure because, well, anyway, maybe we could focus or provide links to the ones that we see often, windows, bricks and mortar, roofing, that type of thing.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. And just so you know, as a normal protocol, when I'm engaging citizens in the office, the guidelines, both from the city of Frostburg and the Secretary of the Interior, and sometimes preservation briefs are what I put in their hands to take with them, along with an application to fill out to come to a meeting. Just because we all know that helps a meeting run a little more smoothly when everybody knows what's expected.
That's wonderful. Okay, I think our next item is new business, but I don't think we have any, do we?
I
Okay,
didn't have any to put on the agenda, so unless there's a discussion item one of you would like to introduce?
I just had two. Maybe, do you have any updates on, I was thinking on was it Title Building where Bar Monkey was? Do you know, has that door been replaced? And then the other thing,
That work has not been completed,
I didn't
no.
think and then the other was the one that is by Dante's that goes up to the residential area. The last time I looked, it was still open, but I haven't looked closely at it.
I think in some respects, while construction has still been considered an essential business and essential function, and it has continued, I'm generally seeing only larger projects being completed.
Okay.
And then in some respects, very small projects are coming forward for permits, like fences and driveways and curb cuts. But general repair like this seems to have been stalled. But those are both applications that I'd gladly check up on for you and report back next month.
Okay. Yeah, particularly that one by Dante's,
That seems like it's been a while.
that's glaring.
Okay.
The other one, you don't pay attention to. To have an open door on Main Street all the time's not good.
the one question I had, LJ, is I think it's a dual residence, a house that has two sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
Next to, shoot, no, I can't even think of the restaurant down on the west end.
Draft zone?
What's that?
The draft zone?
Yeah, that was next to the draft, right? That house has been doing a lot of work, and I couldn't remember exactly where the line ended for the historic district. I know it's right in there somewhere, and I don't remember if that one fell into it or not.
Okay, so are we talking about that very large apartment house building that's
Yeah,
directly across Sleeman Street
Right.
from the Draft Restaurant?
correct.
Okay, so ownership of that building has changed in the last year. And prior to that change in ownership, I was directly involved in the rental housing inspection process for that building. There were a number of deficiencies regarding the roof and electrical service and other general kind of things. But the former owners did a lot of improvement and put a lot of improvements into that building. And then they put it up for sale and it changed ownership. And now the new owner has put a new roof on that building. And in the process of putting the new roof on, they've had to replace and repair a lot of the soffit and fascia.
Mhm.
So we spoke directly and I was assured that only a new roof was being put on and all other repairs were being done in kind. I know that the previous owners tried for a year to find a local company who could do the roof and
Mhm.
in a manner that, you know, could satisfy the budget. And that proved to be impossible. And the new owner has brought this roofing company up from Eastern Maryland. So they've had to
Wow.
travel quite a way just to come do the job. And so that's what I know about that. I'll gladly go out and take a closer look with the camera if you like.
I just never remember seeing it, and maybe I just forgot. I didn't remember ever seeing it as one of our items or as a staff approval. That's why.
That one, well, so that one definitely is within the historic district. The district stops right there at Sleeman Street. And so in my conversation with the gentleman who now owns the property, the way we left it was as long as you were changing the roof shingle for shingle, you did not need approval for that. And as long as
Okay.
you were replacing soffit and fascia materials in kind, you did not need approval for that, because we would
Okay.
refer to that as routine maintenance and upkeep.
Sure.
Although a roof
Sure.
is a little more rare in terms of maintenance and upkeep, but it is something that has to be
Yeah.
done from time to time.
Sure.
How many units are in that building?
10.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
That's always been an apartment building, as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else have anything they want to bring up?
Nope.
All right. If there isn't anything else, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right. Going through roll call. Commissioner Brewer,
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Aye.
Commissioner Rapan.
All right.
All right. Well, hearing none opposed, motion passes. We are adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay well.
Thanks so much, everyone. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate your patience while I got the Facebook Live running and brought my screen share back and all those, you know, little things that
No
didn't exactly
worries.
go right. But now that we're veterans, we should be fine with this moving forward.
It worked very well. Thank you very
Right.
much,
Great.
Aljo.
Yeah, this isn't a bad way
I
to
think
do
you
this
did
at
a
all.
great job.
Thank you very much. Everyone have a wonderful evening and thanks, Frostburg.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.